Ever since November 3 of 2018, the Mantis Man and Box Elder Man franchise has been a very popular part of my YouTube channel. Snake Brothers is also very popular, yet Mantis Man came out first, so it's more popular. It's also better. But just because it's better doesn't mean it is perfect. Here are a couple of mistakes that slipped through editing in Mantis Man and Box Elder Man. Really, we don't really edit our episodes, we just, make them. But there are still mistakes present, like errors that you might not catch at first. It's like that. Every show's like that. No matter if it's a YouTube series, a reality show, or something fake or animated, it doesn't matter. It still has mistakes. Without further ado, let's get into it. Mistake number 1. In the opening scenes, we are just getting to know our characters, as this is the very first episode, and we can clearly see that Box Elder Man has orange gloves. We can also see that Box Elder Man has orange stripes on his abs, shaped like a V for villain. It goes on, and suddenly, what's this? The orange lines have disappeared, and suddenly, his gloves weren't colored in. Obviously, a mistake my father made. Number 2. Staying in the very same episode, near the end is a writing mistake that I did, where you can clearly see the N in Mantis Man was accidentally left out, spelling Mantis Man. Number 3. In Season 1, Episode 2, we can clearly see that the N was added back in Mantis Man. Right up there, you might not be able to see it. There's a blue N right there that I added back in Episode 2. See? Now it's time for the real mistakes. One mistake to fix was the mistake where Box Elder Man's gloves turned white. As you can see, they are orange in this episode and seem to stay orange. And the stripes on the chest are also still there. Now it's time to get on to the mistake. For mistake number 1, yes, this episode has quite a few mistakes. The hood of Mantis Man's cape is blue. Yet in every other scene, even I didn't realize I miscolored it as green. And in the very next scene is another mistake. Look how long Mantis Man's cape is at first. Look how short it becomes. Number 4. In this scene, it looks like I forgot to draw Mantis Man's pupils, but in the very next, he has the pupils. Episodes leading up until episode 6 seem to be mistake-free. Now we're moving to episode 5. There is actually a little mistake in episode 5. This has to do with, yet again, a very similar error from episode 2. Obviously, I drew Box Elder Man in this episode. He doesn't look all that good, but he was for this episode, so it doesn't really matter. The mistake is that, yes, again, the hood of Mantis Man's cape seems to have a mix of blue and green, and you can tell I caught myself. I made it green, and when I was adding the blue, I didn't do that good of a job because it's still pretty obvious that I colored it green, and you can also see where I scribbled over a script that I messed up. But just keep an eye on the hood of his cape. It's blue. It's blue in the very next scene. And in episode 6, the mistakes are very subtle. There's I don't even know how many mistakes. Not very many in this episode, for sure. Not very many at all. So basically, there's really not that many mistakes. There's one. If we look, yes, once again, when Box Elder Man's hands come off, they are once again not orange. They were once again forgotten to be colored in. Again, they were orange at first, and now they're not. What gives? And Box Elder Man seems to have grown a second stripe on his forehead, and now in this scene, he doesn't have any stripes on his forehead. And his eyes were red in the scene before, and his eyes are orange in this scene. So yes, I definitely forgot about the mistakes that were in this episode. Those are the only mistakes, except for just this last one. Harvey's first appearance, for just a few seconds, this is very subtle. It's not even that noticeable, not even that notable or anything, but it has to do with Harvey. Nothing with Mantis Man. But with Harvey, when he's first seen, his eyes are more like a magenta color. And then in the very next scene, and in every other scene and every other episode, they appear to just be completely red. Now it's time for episode 7. Looks like, once again, we forgot to color Box Elder Man's gloves orange. But if you can tell, the arms are not in the same exact position they were when he first exploded. And there's actually an Easter egg. Mickey Mouse, right above Box Elder Man, is a piece that looks like it might have fallen off of him, but it's a Mickey Mouse. And also, we can tell that this mistake was done on purpose. This was one of the mistakes actually done on purpose. Box Elder Man has an extra finger. And the only reason the pieces are in different positions is probably because you can't really remember exactly how you got it in the very first scene you did it compared to in others. Now, Box Elder Man in this episode sometimes has one stripe. I think in at least one of the scenes he might have two. Looks like I'm wrong. Most of Season 1, Box Elder Man only had the one stripe. Those are Season 1 mistakes. Now, if you want Season 2 mistakes, please request them in the comments below.